Number 995 remembers. He has a very good memory. A doctor might say he has a photographic memory, but he has only ever seen one doctor. And that doctor is not interested in his mind. Number 995 remembers every single miserable day he has ever experienced. On this particular day, he is cleaning out the bedpans of the den. There are 22 bedpans, belonging to 22 different numbers. Each one must be emptied, scrubbed, dried, and returned. 15 of the numbers will need their genitals cleaned. 6 of them will be able to clean themselves, and 1 of them does not have genitals to clean at all. It is not very loud in the den. Sometimes there is screaming, but mostly just the sounds of pain. Number 995 has his ears intact, so he can hear everything. He has asked Alan to remove his ears, but Alan refuses. He claims he cannot fix the past. Number 995 enters number 1470's room. He is bedridden, like most of them are in the beginning. His body is healing from being perfected. He is almost completely covered in bandages, except his face. He always had a perfect face. Number 995 remembers number 1470's first night in the den. He pounded on the walls, he screamed and threatened. He used to be a tall man before Ellen's corrections, and made a frightening impression. His face, even reddened with anger and fear, was perfect. He had complete symmetry of the eyes and cheekbones. Even when he tried to hang himself with a bedsheet, his face remained such a beautiful sight. It must have been hard for Alan to cut off his cheeks, nose and lips. Alan did love perfection. But he loved his work more. Number 995 slips the bedpan under number 1470. Number 1470's eyes plead with him. They seem to almost speak aloud, "Kill me." But of course, number 995 would do no such thing. Plus, everyone in the den had the exact same look. He had grown accustomed to it. Number 995 returns more bedpans, but lingers in one of the last rooms. This is number 1459. She is standing away from the door, towards the wall. She is one of the only ones allowed to wear clothing. She is wearing a skin-tight white nurse's dress. Her hair is long and blonde, just like the rest of them. She is barefoot, but a pair of high heels lie near her. She doesn't move. Number 995 moves in a bit closer. It is always exciting to see the transformation. No one would have guessed a bit under a year ago she was a shut-in who only opened her door to delivery drivers. Number 995 remembers. She came in quietly, as if she had already given up. Alan must have enjoyed that. He likes to pretend that his numbers appreciate the work he does. He likes to pretend he makes their lives better. Number 1459 must have suddenly noticed him, because she turned around to face him. Her face has a plastered-on smile. Her makeup has been tattooed to her skin. Skin so tight, it looked a bit painful as she tilted her head. "Hello, sir." She does not stop smiling. "Has the doctor called for me?" Number 995 shakes his head and looks at the floor. Number 1459 giggles a bit. "That's all right, sir. I will be ready when he does call." With that, she turns back and faces the wall. Number 995 slinks out of the room. The last bedpan he has to deliver is to 1101. A terrible smell wafts from her room, much worse than any of the others. She has been here the longest, except for 995 himself. All of the others have either transformed, or died, or both. But 1101 is stubborn. Maybe this is why Alan continued to work on her for all these years. She has gone through so many operations, it was doubtful whether she retained any of her natural skin. Her bones have been broken and reset so many times they creaked if she moved an inch. But through the years, she remained willful. Ellen had sewn her mouth shut over and over because if he gave her even the slightest opportunity to speak, she would curse him. She never lost her fight. If she could move her legs, she would kick him. If she had teeth, she would bite. Ellen finally had to remove all her limbs. Her teeth were gone, her eyelids too. And she was the only one number 995 had ever seen who had her genitals taken from her. All she had was smooth, hairless skin and holes. Number 995 remembers the first day she came. She wasn't like number 1459. She was taken in the night from her family. 16 she had been, just a few years younger than 995 himself. She was a chubby farm girl who smelled of earth. She wore a beautiful blue nightgown that dusted her heels. She woke up only a few hours after Ellen had put her in the den. She said nothing for the first few minutes, walking around her cell as if she was going to climb it. And that night, her first night, she showed how strong she was. "Hey you," she called. Number 995 had been sitting in the hall, watching her, like he watched every new number. He looked around confused, but it registered finally that she was speaking to him. "Did you put me in here?" Her tone was calm, collected. She wasn't going to pound the walls or cry out. She was measuring up her surroundings. Number 995 just shook his head and looked away. Number 1101 furrowed her brow. "Are they going to do to me like they did to you?" She must have been referring to 995's appearance. He looked a bit worse back then, since scars can take years to heal. He was Alan's first 1%. Alan had worked on him for 8 months exclusively. He was a rookie surgeon then, just a fledgling under his father's tutelage. He made many mistakes on number 995, and 995 felt every one of them. But in the moment, 995 didn't know whether to nod or shake his head. He of course couldn't vocally respond, given that his tongue had been removed. So he just pressed his arms into himself. His hook dug a little into the scar tissue that was his stomach, but he had lost all of the nerve endings there. Number 1101 pressed her hand against the bars on the door of her room. "Come closer." 995 was hesitant, but he hobbled to the door. She smiled kindly. 995 hadn't seen a kind smile since he was a child. "Do you have a name?" Number 995 nodded. He turned around to show her the back of his neck. There, tattooed in dark red ink, were the numbers 995. He faced her again, expecting to see a look of pity or scorn. But instead, he saw that same kindness. "I've got a weird name too. It's Amaryllis, named after the flower. But truth be told, I'm not much of a flower. You can call me Mar." She moved so both her hands were now pressing against the bars. "You have to promise me to never forget that. You can't forget my name. I'm betting they're going to want to give me some numbers too, but those aren't real. I'm real and you're real. You understand?" Number 995 nodded slowly. Then he did something he knew Ellen would have punished him for. He pressed his one intact hand to the bars and touched hers. He could feel her skin, her sweat. He felt a connection for the first time since Dr. Ellen Alship II had pried him from his dead mother and brought him down to the den. He never touched her after that, and she never spoke to him. 995 saw her every day for 43 years, but neither showed any recollection of that first night. But every day, 1101 still had kindness in her. After every single operation, she still had kindness in her lidless eyes. But on this day, the smell is overwhelming. And sadly, it is a smell 995 recognized. "She's dead, isn't she?" Ellen is behind number 995. They stand staring into the room together. 1101 is finally dead. Ellen is smiling. He is proud. "It's great news, 995. I've got a brand new one to take her room."